Hey, Philip here, and let's look at the exact reason why you keep attracting toxic people. And it goes way deeper than you probably think. When you are surrounded by toxic people or you find yourself in toxic relationships, it's because you don't have healthy boundaries for yourself and keep putting up with this. But it goes way deeper than that, because the question then becomes, why don't you have healthy boundaries for yourself? Why do you allow this to happen? And there can be multiple reasons for that. For example, you are afraid to end up alone, or you feel like you need to chase for approval of others, or you need external validation, or you just feel like you need to please others and put them before yourself. Is any of that true for you? Let me know down below in the comments. But this is not the end. It still goes deeper, because the question now becomes, why do you need approval and validation from others, from the external? Why do you please them? Why are you afraid of ending up alone? So let's go even deeper. I hope you already started to notice the pattern here. One of the main principles when healing, working on yourself and changing is to always get to the root of the actual problem. You did the right thing by asking yourself, why do I keep ending up with toxic people in my life? Why do I keep attracting toxic people? But now you want to answer that question and follow it deeper and deeper all the way to its root. So let's look at where we are at so far. And from here we just go deeper, because we are done now with taking care of symptoms, with putting on band-aids on top of our deep inner wounds. We get to the actual root of the problem and heal it there, because like that we can make an actual sustainable change. So why do you put others first, chase for approval and need external validation? And the answer to that is most likely you cannot validate yourself. Or said in other words, you have an inner lack of self-worth. Having a healthy sense of self-worth and self-love is absolutely crucial when it comes to living a life authentic to who you are and keeping toxic people away from you. And your sense of self-worth has to come from inside of you. Attaching it to something external is always unhealthy. And chances are you attach your sense of self-worth to what others think about you or how others treat you. Or you feel like you're only worthy if you do everything perfect for others, if you cater to their every need, if you set back your own needs and try to please them. And like this, you attach your sense of self-worth to sources outside from you. And that is not sustainable, can never last, and is one of the main reasons why you keep attracting toxic people into your life. Instead, your sense of self-worth has to come from the inside. You are worthy. Period. Look at it like this. Imagine you have a $100 note. How much is it worth? Exactly, $100. Well, I don't have a $100 note, so let's take this as an example. This is our $100 note. It's worth $100, right? But what now if I insult it and if I tell it how stupid and worthless it is? How much is it worth now? Well, still $100, right? And what now if I crumple it down and if I hit it? How much is it worth now? Well, it's still worth $100. But what now? What now if I crumple it down even more, if I throw it on the floor, if I spit on it and if I stomp on it? How much is it worth now? Well, exactly. It's still worth $100. Its worth did not change by my actions. It will always be worth $100 because its worth is intrinsic. And just like with you, your worth will never change. You are worthy from when you were born throughout your entire life, and nothing from the external can ever take away this worth from you. But there's an issue. And this issue brings us to the last question we need to ask. But before we go even deeper, are you getting value out of this so far? If so, it would be amazing if you would hit the like button and also consider subscribing, because going deeper, getting to the root cause and focusing on yourself, which is everything that you can control, is exactly what we are doing here on this channel to change your life. So why don't you have a healthy inner sense of self-worth? And the answer to that is because likely you have deeper subconscious childhood wounds. And there are a few important things to understand here. Your parents don't have to be toxic for you to develop a lack of self-worth and self-love. Of course, often they are, but they don't have to be. It's all about how you as a small child perceive the situation. And especially as small children, many things can be very overwhelming for us. Things that don't really make any sense when you now consciously think about it. Which brings me to the second point. It's not about your conscious mind because these wounds are subconscious. And even if you consciously think you know what the problem is, you likely don't. Because your subconscious mind doesn't work like your conscious mind does. It does not communicate logically and it doesn't work linear. The bottom line is, in your childhood, you likely did not get unconditional love in the way you needed it. And this can look like your parents only giving you conditional love, where you have to do everything right for them and be perfect for them, and only then they show you love, or your parents withdrawing love from you, or giving you no love at all. But how does that now lead to you being surrounded by toxic people later in life? Well, let's look at your subconscious mind for that. From the moment you are born, your brain tries to understand what the world is, what the rules of the world are, and how to keep you safe in the world. And as a small child, you need your parents for survival. And if your parents don't give you unconditional love, this means for your brain they might abandon you. And when they abandon you, you die. So if you are now as a small child in a situation where you experience love withdrawal, in your brain something like this happens. Oh no, my parents are withdrawing love from me. This means they might abandon me, which means I might die. So I better try everything to chase for their love and approval. I am perfect for them. I do everything right just for them. I blame myself so they don't abandon me, so they give me back their love, so I am safe and I won't die. This is your only safety survival strategy as a small child, chasing for love and approval. And in this moment, a safety lesson ingrains in your subconscious, and the safety lesson looks something like this. I need to chase for love and approval from others in order to be safe, or in order to stay alive. And this happening very early in life makes it extremely strong and a very deeply ingrained safety rule and safety lesson that keeps coming up again and again throughout your entire life. And this can look different for everybody. Some people just chase for love and approval from friends, some just in relationships, some from both. But bottom line is, this ingrained subconscious childhood wound is the reason why you keep attracting toxic people into your life.
But it was ages ago and isn't even a problem anymore.
Yes, that's what you consciously say. But remember, your subconscious does not communicate in logic and does not work linear. What you experience first becomes a base rule of how you interact with the world. Because remember, from the moment you are born, your brain, your subconscious tries to understand how the world works, what the rules are, and how to keep you safe. And if you find yourself in a potentially dangerous and life-threatening situation, it ingrains very deeply because your survival is critical and the highest function of your brain. And not getting unconditional love in your childhood is the exact reason why you learn that you are unworthy or not good enough without trying everything and being perfect for others. So you naturally start to chase for love and approval. You neglect yourself, don't have healthy boundaries, and allow toxic behavior. And you can fully recover and heal from this and sustainably change so that you don't attract toxic people anymore into your life. But for that, it's important to not just change your behavior, like learning to stand up for yourself or learning how to set boundaries, but to actually get to the root cause and heal it at its root on a subconscious level. Let's look at another example to make this very easy to understand. So let's say it's your first day in school and you speak up, you say something in class, and the whole class starts laughing at you. This brings up a lot of emotional pain inside of you, and it ingrains very deeply in your subconscious. Now you go through your life, and as an adult you need to have a presentation in front of a few people. Before the presentation now starts, you feel anxious, a lot of anxiety comes up, because your subconscious tries to keep you from having this presentation. Because it links speaking in front of people back to your childhood experience and all the emotional pain that you experienced back then. Of course, if you have a presentation as an adult, no one will start laughing at you. But for your subconscious, this emotional pain, these situations are linked together. Even if it consciously doesn't make any sense, but your subconscious tries to keep you safe and tries to not have you speaking in front of people, to prevent you from all of the emotional pain from happening again. This is how your subconscious works. Do you know these anxious or stressed out feelings when standing up for yourself, when not pleasing others, when trying to have boundaries for yourself, when trying to put yourself first? Is it like a knot in your throat or stomach that feels like you just cannot do it? Watch this video over there for an easy technique that you can use right away to deal with these feelings and heal them right when they happen.